Hello, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right. All right, there we go. Anyways, welcome to the mic stand, everybody. Today is Sunday, February the 8th, 2026. Um, so if you guys can help, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be very much appreciated. Also, if anything here we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer questions to the best of our ability. With that being said, done and said, before we before we do get started, and before I talk about what's on tap for tonight, I'm going to pass it off to my co-host for the evening, Mr. Rick Piper of Cross
Uh-huh.
from up in Canada. Um,
Hey.
hey, boot. All right.
You know what we're all about,
take,
hey?
take it away, Rick. You know
Well,
the stick, right?
yeah, I know what we're all about, hey? Yeah. And no, we don't talk like that. This is how we talk here in Canada.
Hmm.
Just like most of you Americans. Although we probably have an accent to you. Some of you guys have accents, some of us don't. But I'm getting way off topic.
Yeah.
Anyways, my name is Rick Piper. I have my own little comic company. You can find me here on YouTube, and I have my own website. But what I'm really going to promote right now is just recently I've put the Canadian Shield 1 and the Ash Can for Canadian Shield up on this site, Global Comics, for free. Although you can get both of those for free off my site to download. But yeah, I'm slowly putting up my comics on there that I have. Snow just number one is up there digitally to buy for $2, as well as Canadian Shield 2. And hopefully sometime this week, coming week, number 3 will be up there to buy for $2 as well digitally. But anyways, yeah, go check me out on Global Comics. There's a couple other little tidbits on there, some cross comic shorts, and another thing that I had in another comic called something trolls. What was Chris's book for trolls? I forget.
Hmm.
Anyways, that's it for me at the moment.
All right. So with that, and there's the link if you guys want to go check. The links in the chat now, so go check that out. You can. All right. So with that. Did you want to promote anything you were doing for the upcoming week in terms of your YouTube channel, Rick?
Just I'm gonna be on Monday through Thursday doing some show or other. The Silhouette game is back, so people wants to check that out. It'd be really awesome if they did. I think people like it, especially participate. It's a real good show. What can I say? I don't know what more can I say. And like I'm doing drawing and all that of my characters or whatever. So yeah, just come check out my channel.
All right. Anything more you want to say before we continue on?
Nothing I can think of offhand. Maybe later.
All right. All right. Well, with that being said, then let's talk now a little bit about what's on tap for tonight. So, as I said earlier, we're going to be starting our coverage of comics that went on sale in August of 1940. Be looking at books that went on sale from DC. Of course, we know it today as DC Comics, but it was really back in 1940. It was actually two companies. The one company, of course, was National periodicals publications, which which of course published Action Comics, All American or Action Comics, Adventure Comics, More Fun, and Detective Comics. While All American Publications, also known as JK Publishing, I believe, they focused on All Star Comics, or I'm sorry, All American Comics, and Flash Comics. So, anyways, but we're going to be looking at those books tonight. Specifically, of course, we're going to be what we are going to be reading from All American number 19, and which marked the published debut of the Golden Age Atom, Al Pratt. Now, many of you may know of Ray Palmer, the Silver Age Atom, the one who can basically shrink down to 6 inches and still has the proportional strength of a 6-foot man at that small size. But the Atom we're talking about is the one who predated him in the Golden Age, the Mighty Might known as as Al Pratt, the Atom from the Golden Age. So we're going to be looking at him when give you a little quick introduction to him. Of course, his fiancee and eventual wife, Mary Janes, and Joe Morgan, who played a significant role not just in Al Pratt's life, but in a number of other lives of some other DC characters. Then from there, we're going to, then after reading that, we'll also be reading from All Star Comics number 2. We'll just be going through the whole book because it's basically all the characters you'd know of, but since there are just so many books, what I'm going to do before we even talk about the Atom, I'm going to just quickly go over some summaries of some stories from some of the other books that came out at this time. Just so I guess I can pull that up.
Yeah, because you unfortunately, there's so many. DC is a big company. Even back then, they're really taking over. You can't really cover every single story or every single book.
Yeah, I mean, now this right here is how many books were coming out, and you may notice More Fun came out twice. This I think was one of those 5-week months in which one of the books was at least one of the books was gonna probably show up twice.
Well, still, that's what 7 comics, 8 comics altogether, but
right. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So I'll just focus on the books that. So of course we had More Fun 59 and 59 and 60. And I'm just gonna for the most part, most of the stories were just simply the heroes dealing with run of the mill gangster type criminals. So you probably won't be seeing as many of those stories that we're talking about. But I'm just gonna point out some of the ones. Now here's a story that was kind of a 2-parter that ran from in 59 and 60. This is the Congo Bill story. Congo Bill had just debuted in a few issues prior. So Gloria Desmond's Quest, 6 pages, with of course supporting cast Joe Kent, Gloria Desmond, and the savage horned Tonders. Let's see, comments, of course. Congo Bill reveals that he was a pilot in World War One. The story continues in the 3rd story of More Fun number 60. This story was not originally titled, and as was the case in many stories back in this time, most of them were not titled. But anyways, Congo Bill and Professor Kent are contacted by Gloria Desmond to find her father, who has gone missing in an unexpected area of the African jungle. The trio take Gloria's plane, begin a search. When they land to make repairs, Gloria is taken by African natives who plan to sacrifice them. I I guess it should be her, but Congo Bill pretends to be an angry god and is able to free Gloria from the natives. The trio then resume their quest. And then we'll just link here where it says more fun 60 right here to see
Yeah.
how the story.
And just before you start that, we have Jefferson Starship Trooper in the chat saying hello. And anybody here in the chat? I don't think there's anybody else in the chat, but I will say hello.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, anyways, in a continuation, of course, of the previous story, which ends here, of course. This time they're dealing with a tribe of monkey men, Gloria Desmond and Mr. Desmond. Congo Bill helps Gloria Desmond search the jungle for her missing father. Bill crosses a ravine and is captured by a tribe of monkey men. They take him to their camp where a bearded white man orders him imprisoned. Gloria and Professor can't follow. Gloria recognizes the bearded man as her father, but he has amnesia. Bill escapes and takes Mr. Desmond with him. During the escape, the old man is hit in the head and his memory returned. So it's one of those things. You get hit hard in the head once, you lose your memory. You get hit hard in the head again, and you regain your memory. Classic storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me then now just go back. Couple here. Actually, I could have even just done this because there was one other thing from More Fun 60 here that was of note too. Now the Spectre taking on an enemy named Znon, I guess, Xnon here. And Spectre, much like Superman, was written by Jerry Siegel, but the art was done by Bernard Bailey. So Spectre with Wayne Grant and Police Chief of Clifford featured supporting characters Znon, an extra-dimensional tyrant, Bill and Jack gangsters in this story. This is a story where the Spectre is given the Ring of Life. When a train full of gold disappears, the Spectre is seen by several witnesses. Jim Corrigan is assigned to investigate the disappearance, though he knows the Spectre is not responsible. While trailing two crooks, the Spectre follows them through a dimensional portal where he meets Znon, a tyrant using super science. Znon's powers prove too much for the Spectre. The tyrant places the Spectre under his command and sends him back to Earth on an errand of mass murder. Spectre is halted by the voice responsible for his transformation into the ghostly guardian. The voice gives Spectre a talisman called the Ring of Life, which breaks the spell of Znon. Now, Rick, who do you think in the Spectre here, you probably know this, who do you think the voice is?
The voice. The voice. It's probably supposed to be God.
Yeah, I'm guessing that too. That's my thought too. Spectre there then returns to confront Znon. With the Ring of Life in his possession, the Spectre overcomes his opponent and returns the missing train to Earth. The police, however, are not convinced that the Spectre is not a crook. So Jim Corrigan is assigned to apprehend his other self. Now get that. You're kind of got a split personality, right? Or something like that. And your one personality is basically told to go grab your other personality. Right? Or your other identity. That's an interesting bit there. Anyway, so that's all more fun. So let's get some of the other issues here. Let's see. Is there anything here? I think no, these are all basically just standard there, I believe. Oh, actually, in this Batman story, the case of the City of Terror, let's see. I believe this is kind of from some of the other things I read here. Outside of Gotham, this is the only other place they came to this one. Let's see. Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson travel across the country to a town run by racketeers, racketeer Bugs Norton, and a corrupt mayor, Greer. Um, Batman disrupts Norton's operations and organizes citizens against him. The citizens oust the mayor, and Batman puts an end to the corrupt regime. Now, mind you, here also, this town that they're in, they don't actually name it, but from one of the things I read on the DC wiki, right? Apparently, they had actually hoisted a statue of Batman and Robin in this town outside of Gotham.
Okay.
Well, that was a bit of an interesting tidbit there. All right, then Adventure Comics. So I guess I should have. So we talked about. So that was Detective Comics 43. Now we're going to talk about Adventure Comics 54 real quick here. And in this one, the two main characters, Hourman and Sandman, are both dealing with kidnapping cases. So Hourman, kidnapping of a Minuteman, and it was the previous issue that we actually were introduced to. In fact, you may have been with me. I don't know if you were the one who was read that story with me or not.
I'm not sure offhand.
Introduction of the Minutemen of Jimmy Martin and then the case of the kidnapped heiress and Sandman. So, got a couple stories here. I won't read through them because we want to make sure we have time for the other stuff too. But a couple of interesting kidnapping stories there. So, commenting on that. Then Flash number 10. So, Flash has reached issue number 10 here early on. We have the school board problem. The King here, the Green Cap. Now, the reason I'm highlighting this story a little bit because, of course, the King's lone arch rival, the Witch, who's also his romantic interest, as it were, is featured in the story as well. So, the King visits a nightclub called the Green Cap. He spots the Witch inside the club and follows her into a back room and holds an illegal gambling operation. The King uncovers evidence of cheating, then takes the place of one of the racketeers. The next evening, he publicly exposes and shuts down the gambling racket. Now, again, the only reason I highlighted this is more because of the fact that you had a recurring villainess in there in the Witch. And then the orphanage benefit from the Picnic from Johnny Thunder, and then Adventure of the and Johnny Thunder here, the Picnic. This is another cute little story. Not as dramatic, not as much, So comics, Johnny Thunderbolt manifests itself invisibly in the story, making it appear Johnny's magic actually works on people around him, rather than the Thunderbolt. Now, of course, the supporting characters include the Thunderbolt, Daisy Darling, his romantic interest, Herman Darling, her father, and then his parents, Simon B. and Mildred Thunder. Johnny and his parents join Daisy Darling and her father for a picnic in a pasture. They are bothered by a herd of cows, so Johnny uses his magic thunderbolt to make them leave. However, when the farmer who owns the field finds the cows gone, he demands that Johnny and his friends leave. While packing up, a bull begins chasing Herman Darling. Johnny uses his power to stop the bull, and the picnic concludes. Of Quite a picnic, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to say hello to Fitzchozo in the chat. Fitzchozo is here in the chat.
Hello,
So hello,
Fitzgerald.
Fitzchozo.
All right. We're just going over some of the other stories that we weren't going to be able to cover tonight. A reminder to everybody, of course, we're just tonight we're going to be reading Al Pratt, the Golden Age Adam, Al Pratt's first published appearance, and also be reading from All Star Comics #2. So that's why I'm just going over some of these stories. After this, we'll do a quick little intro to the Golden Age Adam, and then we'll get into the readings. All right, so continuing on here, let's see. And All American 19. Some of the other stories in there include Green Lantern dealing with the insurance racket, Hop Harrigan dealing with payroll robbers, and Squibbly, Sisty, and Dinky get kidnapped. Now, Squibbly, the reason we do cover him a little bit here, because Squibbly is where Squibbly is what eventually gave us. So this story is continued from All American Comics number 18 and continues in. So Dinky and Sisty have stowed away the trunk of gangsters. They find guns and force the crooks to take them to the Voss. While their mothers worry about the kids' safety, the children cause trouble for the gangsters. They break into an illegal casino and chase everyone outside. The mob boss gets upset and orders the men to capture them. All right. So, oh yeah. And then these features also had Mahunkles in this. I don't know if this was the actual intro to Red Tornado, the Golden Age Red Tornado, or not. I don't believe so. But basically, it was out of the Squibbly feature here that we got the Red Tornado, the original Red Tornado. The story also features a single panel gag entitled "Why Big Brothers Leave Home," and those are pretty cute too. All right, so continuing on here, let me see. And then in Action Comics, of course, Superman's is dealing with gangsters, I believe. Let's see. The life insurance scam, Black Pirate, the Red Raiders, part of a multi-issue arc that introduces Bonnie, Queen of the Seas. Tex Thompson dealing with the Washington spy ring. And of course, Zatara on the hunt for Captain Kidd's treasures. And then All-Star, as I said, all right. So we're basically done with all the with all the, at least the summary stuff. So now let me go to the DC Wiki so we can learn a little bit about what I will do here, of course. All right, so and the reason I'm going here is because, as I said, because we do have have a couple other characters we'll look at real quick too. And again, just doing more of the appearing in the Atom, Mighty Atom. So First, take a look at the featured character, of course, Al Pratt here. Now they say New Earth here. Now again, I'm not aside from maybe the very top here. Al Pratt was a 98-pound weakling who one day bought dinner for a vagrant who turned out to be former boxing champ Joe Morgan. After training with Morgan for a year, Pratt became a barehanded crime fighter. Later gaining superpowers by accident from an enemy. Now, that very last statement, the superpowers part, that's not pertinent as of yet because that's, again, post-crisis, New Earth. But the other parts are, I believe, relatively true. So anyway, so powers and weaknesses here. We'll just kind of, again, a lot of these powers are just simply from from his, and again we're going to focus more on his abilities here for now because of the fact, again, we're just dealing with the golden age. So abilities: genius level intellect, science, gadgetry. He invented the Atomobile, a thinking cap detector, and a dimensional belt. Physics, of course, the atom is, it's kind of funny. I think both atoms, both Al Pratt and Ray Palmer, or at least the first two there, and maybe even Ryan Choi too, were all physics professors, I believe. Hand to hand.
I thought he did have like powers like superhuman strength or whatever, or an atom punch or whatever.
Well, I think that was developed later. I think that was developed, as I said, due to circumstances happened on New Earth after Crisis of Infinite Earth. But
okay.
Hand-to-hand combat, boxing, trained by Joe Morgan himself when it came to the art of boxing. So, and then abilities, of course, firearms, acrobatics, disguise, multilingualism. He speaks Spanish, basically meaning he can speak multiple languages, or in this case, another language. Weaknesses: overconfidence, short temper, often bullied in the university due to his short stature. Adam frequently lacks patience. So this Adam was more of a hothead.
Yeah. See, I gotta laugh.
What was that?
Oh, I just laugh at the Atommobile.
Equipment.
They gave him the Automobile because Batman had the Batmobile, probably.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know in the Silver Age, it seemed like with a lot of people who at least a lot of the people who had the same kind of MO of Batman would end up copying a lot of his stuff too. Green Arrow in particular. Green Arrow had the Aeromobiles, I recall.
Yeah.
So, dimensional vibrator belt, pre-crisis only, Adam's own invention that allowed him to travel between parallel Earths. And of course, transportation, the Automobile, as we had previously talked about. Some notes here. Let's see. And this note is something they always say in this particular wiki. Although the character was originally introduced during DC's Earth 2 era publication, their existence following the events of the Crisis on Infinite Earths remains intact. However, some elements of the character's pre-crisis history may have been altered or removed for post-crisis New Earth continuity and no longer apply. So,
actually, I doubt that stuff remains intact with everything that they've done in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years.
yeah.
The other reboots.
Yeah. So. Also, all right. So, according to this, at least one of the notes here, it wasn't until All-Star Comics when he stopped All-Star Comics number 41 when he stopped a truck by punching it. Prior to that, he had not really displayed any superpowers.
Uh-huh.
And then,
Which one are we reading tonight?
huh?
Which one are we reading with him tonight in?
Oh, All American Comics number 19.
Okay, this is All Star Comics 41. Any
Yeah.
idea where we are in All Star Comics, or do we has All Star Comics even started up yet?
Well, we're going to be reading All Star Comics number 2
Oh,
tonight,
okay, so it's technically
along with American Comics. So, I don't think he's in All Star number 2 yet, though, because he's basically making his introduction here in All American number 19. So,
yeah.
and it's
So
kind
we've
of
got
funny
quite a
because I think, if I remember correctly, All American 20 is either going to be the introduction of Vandal Savage or Solomon Grundy, one of the two.
okay. Well,
So,
I'd
so
say
that's
we'll find out
what
next month,
we'll
but
get.
we'll find out in a couple months when you um, get
Yep,
there.
yep. Let's see. Trivia: Al Pratt is also known as Little Superman, Pocket Dynamite, and the Mighty Might. Adam had very few powered enemies. The vast majority were common criminals. Um, I think the one quote unquote themed criminal, if you want to call it that, was the Tusk. You know, or one criminal who had like a supervillain name was the Tusk. Hal Pratt's address was 67 Oak Lane, Calvin City. So, all right. So let me just do a couple of other quick intros, then we will. So Mary James, and I'm not going to go through like abilities and all that. I'm just going to read what little.
So Mary James, not Mary Jane.
Yeah, Mary James. Mary once in person. Okay, so Mary James is more or less his girlfriend slash fiance, and eventually became his wife. Mary James was the wife of Adam Al Pratt and the mother of Damage Grant Emerson. So, um, and then Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan was a professional boxer and later became a trainer. Now, the Atom was not the only member of the masked men, the superheroes that he trained. Joe Morgan also, one of the other things I read too was he also trained Wildcat Ted Grant as well.
Yeah, I was thinking he might have because Wildcat is known to be a boxer. In
Mhm.
fact, depending on the continuity, Wildcat had some training, did some training for Bruce Wayne.
Hmm. Yeah. So anyway, so that's at least so now I'll kind of close this out for a moment. Oh wait, no, I didn't mean for that to happen. All right, sorry about that, Rick.
No problem.
Kind of. I could have. I'm just used to doing that. But anyways, so now I'm gonna go. So now that we've gone through all the intros and all the summary stuff, we're already 34 minutes, so we'd best get going here. Now we're going to go ahead. Now I'm going to go ahead and get to the actual reading. Mm. All right, so now that we have it here. Did you want to do some reading tonight, Rick?
Yeah,
All right. So now we're gonna um, say. Did you want to be the Atom tonight?
sure.
All right. So October number 19. So October was the cover date, of course. The Green Lantern All American Comics, 10 cents. There's the Green Lantern right there.
Yeah, just the other day on my channel, I combined this Green Lantern, Alan Scott, with Captain America,
Yeah, I dropped by for that. I saw you do that.
the American Lantern.
Yeah, and it seems like in the coloring here, there's a like green tint to everything. Even the stuff that maybe shouldn't be green. Even you look at his costume right there. Even the red has some green tint to it. Almost, it's almost like it's reflecting off of his uniform there. All right, so here we go. Introducing the Mighty Atom by Ben Flinton, and Bill O'Connor. An atom is absolutely the smallest thing on Earth. So we find our little friend Al Pratt, much to his discomfort, dubbed Atom Al by his college friends who consistently kid him about his small size.
Oh, there's another little thing there.
Huh?
There's another Bill or Bob. Oh, is that just by or Ben?
Yeah,
Whatever.
by Ben Flint. I read that before I read the.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Hello, Adam. Say, fellows, here comes Adam Al. Let's have some fun with him.
Stand up when you speak to us.
Hello, little man. Say, Adam, are you standing in a hole or what? I think I should have read that first, but
Lay off, you big stiffs.
wow, where did you get those big muscles? Don't forget to eat your spinach, Al.
A reference to Popeye.
Uh, I think.
Gee.
Oh, hold on, before you speak it, I think that's a thought bubble right there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's why I was trying to lower my voice a little.
hmm.
Gee. Wow. Can I help being so small? I'll show them yet. Hello, Mary. Just the person I want to see. How about going to the prom Friday with me?
Oh wow,
Hey, what's up?
it's a stick-up, kid, and hand over your dough. You hand over any dough you got. Oh wow, do something. He'll take my ring and watch. Don't move, Squirt, or else I'll step on ya. Now, hand over the dough and jewelry.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Why didn't you do something? You spineless little amoeba. Oh, why couldn't I have been with a man at a time like this? Now Now, I won't go to that dance with you. In fact, I don't want to see you again. Goodbye.
But, but Mary, why do I have to be so small? Now I've even lost my girl. What can I do?
For a long time, um, Al broods over things which had happened. Then one day, say, Bud, uh, do you can you spare a dime?
Yeah, here now. Go away. Don't bother me.
Hey, pal, this is a buck.
Well, what of it? I don't care about anything. Say, you look hungry? Come on. I'll buy you dinner.
What's the idea? What's the idea, pal? You seem pretty down at the mouth.
Sure am. And I got good reasons.
Now, before I can go on to the next thing, there we have a phrase here that you don't see too much anymore. Rick, do you know what the phrase "pretty down in the at the mouth" means?
I do believe it's, meaning, depressed or whatever around that area.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has something to do with horses or whatever. I think that's what I heard, but I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, well, the usage here is, yeah, you're right. Is that, meaning like somebody is like depressed or, not real happy, basically. All right, so Al tells his new friend how everything is going against him because of his size, that he is determined to do something about it, but what he doesn't know. You may be small, pal, but your heart is pretty big. I'd like to help you, um, and perhaps I can.
What do you mean?
Well, pal, my name is Joe Morgan. I'm on the I'm on the run now, but once I was a pretty good fight uh
I think
fight
it's I'm
trainer.
on the bum now,
Oh,
not the run.
oh, I'm on the bum now, but once I was a pretty good fight trainer.
And of course, bum I think means low, being a bum.
Yeah, right.
You, Joe Morgan. What? I've heard of you.
Sure you did. Lots of people did. Once, why I've bust up bodies that were worse than yours and made champs out of them.
You did? Do you think you could do anything for me?
Sure, I could. You're not so bad. Just a little soft. While I bet I could make you a little Superman. I can make a little Superman out of you in less than a year. Now that's quite a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's quite a challenge, isn't it? Making him a little Superman in less than a year. That sounds like quite a challenge.
yeah. Listen, Joe, why don't you try it? I was brought up in my uncle's farm in the country, and when he died, he left me the old place and a little money. I haven't been there in years, but I think I think her, she, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I mean, if you think you could, maybe you could.
Sure, I'll go with you. I got no place to go. And so Al left college abruptly and went up to the old farm with his new friend.
Well, here it is, Joe. It's pretty messy. We might as well start cleaning it up.
Gee, it's going to feel funny having a place to sleep for a change. Next morning, come on, Al, up and at 'em. 6:30. We'll only run 4 miles this morning.
Only four.
Yeah, especially considering, well, he's young, so he could probably do it. I mean, if he's like a college sophomore, I believe here, he's like about 19, 20, so he should be able to do it.
Yeah,
But
they would be probably a little bit more fit than us, but I could still imagine
well,
having a little
we
trouble running
50 year
4 miles.
olds who got these little who got the padding right here. So under Joe Morgan's direction, Al starts his athletic training. Now look at it. Look, there's them running. He's working the dumbbells, some sparring practice, weightlifting, milk. um,
Milk does the body
row,
good. I guess it's
row.
for veggies too. Having a balanced diet, I think, is basically trying to show.
Hmm. Oh. For a year, Al rigidly applies to the rules um, set down by Joe. Slowly, he develops. Then one morning, well, Al, I guess that this finishes it. I can't do nothing more for you. The rest is up to yourself.
And I feel marvelous. But this doesn't finish us. You and I are sticking together.
We'll soon be back in the city. Yep.
Yep,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yep. You watch the luggage, Joe, while I get the tickets. I was here first.
One side, youngster. One side, youngster. Let your elders be served. Go on, little boy. I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, you can't shove me around just because I'm small.
Hey, what's going on?
Joe, did you see what I did? Wow, let's try it over again.
Nick, just because I give you a couple of muscles, you needn't go around slapping everyone silly.
I can't get over it, Joe. Uh, am I that strong? It must have been a mistake.
Hmm. But then here we saw his overconfidence, and Joe kind of trying to remind him not to be overconfident. Remember what we
Yeah,
just read in his weaknesses? Overconfidence.
yeah.
Hmm. I don't know, Al. Maybe you'll have to watch yourself from now on. Back in the city, Al and Joe take a room in the modest hotel not far from the college. That night,
I'm going to walk. I'm going for a walk, Joe. I'd like to see my old girlfriend, Mary James, the one who gave me the uh a
gave me the air. I believe it's the
yeah,
air.
the air a year ago. Oh, this door is stuck.
With a tremendous burst of strength, Al pulls the doorknob from the floor, from the door. Uh, Well, I wouldn't say he has super strength, but considering how much he trained, he probably is a lot stronger than he realized. Maybe Joe was right. Maybe he did turn him into a little Superman.
Yeah, well, I think he's got way above average strength because doors would be made much better back then, I believe, and the fact that he's pulling that off all together, the
But
wood he's
but
doing,
they but they did
less
say that it was a modest hotel, though.
yeah, but still back then, things were made better.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, it could be cheap materials, but I doubt that it's going to be cheap materials.
Well, it depends upon how old the door is too, and how old the hotel
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I mean, if it's a
Oh,
modest hotel, maybe it's aged a bit, and maybe it's just. But anyways, you're up.
yeah. Jeez, look at what I did, Joe. The door was stuck, and I only meant to pull it open. Well, so long, Joe. I'll be going.
Wow, I never thought I'd train him that good. The size of him with the strength of a giant.
Almost saying that he has some super strength for his size, really.
Yeah. Well, again, though, it could have again it could have
Yeah,
just
I
been.
get interpretation of the script, I guess.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Here's Mary's house. I hope I see her. Hey, what's going on?
okay, Bone, let's get out of here in a hurry.
That girl is Mary. I'm going along.
It looks like. Oh,
Hmm. It looks like it's a kidnapping. Now what will I do?
yeah. They didn't have. You couldn't really tell what. You can't really tell where the arrow is, if at all.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, I'd say the bubbles
the
because
bubble is like more over them than over him.
yeah, but what I mean by the bubbles is it was a thought balloon, not a regular
Yeah,
dialogue bubble.
yeah. Here she is, boss. Nice work, boys. Old man James has that ransom note by now, and he'll kick in with the 20 grand too. He won't want his pretty daughter hurt.
So it is a kidnapping. Those big stiffs can't hurt Mary. I'm going in there.
Al enters like a thunderbolt.
Bring down that curtain, boys. Your show is closing. Yippee! A basket.
Yes, yes. This is the chief of police. Say, how did you know? How did you know of that kidnapping? I just heard myself a few minutes ago. What? All right, we'll be there. He say he's yes. Who is this speaking? Hmm. Cut off. Well. Someone sure did a fine job here. I wonder who it could have been.
Look, a card.
The Atom. This is a new one on me. Who is this Adam? Did you see him, Miss James? No, I would have. I would have to be blindfolded all the while. Boy, I surely would like to meet him. He must be wonderful. Will Mary find out that the atom is the same little Al she had turned down a year before. Will the police discover who their unknown aide is? See the next issue of All American Comics. All right, Rick. So we're through the first story here of the atom. Overall impressions.
Pretty good, actually. The only thing that I'm a little iffy on is this calling card that he left at the end. You know, when did he get time to make this card? This is his first time ever doing this, and you don't even see any contemplation of him doing this beforehand. So it's like, how would he have these cards done already to leave, especially that stylized?
All right, but overall, though, you
But
like the
other than
story.
that, yeah, it was a real good story. I think fairly believable, for a comic. He got trained up.
Well, you have to remember too, in the golden age, like unlike the silver age, the golden age, you know, most of what they called the mystery men at the time, who we call either masked men, vigilantes, or superheroes nowadays, didn't really have superpowers. Okay,
Yeah,
only a small handful that yes, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, Green Lantern.
there
They
was a fair
Doctor,
amount, but
and then the magic ones like Doctor Fate and Spectre and all that. They had powers, but everybody else they were usually aided by equipment and or like physical
yeah,
training. They weren't like
yeah. So it definitely seems about half and half for peoples with powers versus non-powers. Although it doesn't say the atom has powers, like we were sort of discussing a little earlier. With the breaking of that door, um, one could say that he doesn't, but he definitely has more than just a regular boxer's
well,
strength.
I don't really think when Connor and Flinton here, um, I don't think when they initially wrote this story, they envisioned him having super. I think his strength is due more to his training. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
if you think about it from this perspective, right? They went and isolated them. He and Joe Morgan went isolated them for a year. Okay,
yeah,
on the farm. You saw he was doing muscle training too. He was like lifting weights. He was
yeah,
so
yeah.
it is
And he was learning how to
possible that
fight and all that. I get that. I get all that. I'm just saying to break that door like it did, it's more than like a lot of people train probably very similar to that every day. Even back then for to become boxers and that back then, and none of them would have that strength to open break that door.
maybe they would. I mean, how many people do you actually know who, outside of comics and cartoons and all that, how many people do you actually know who actually have gone through that training? And and seen the extent of what their strength may be? It is
Yeah.
possible. It is possible with that train. You have to remember too, they were doing probably 8 hours of training. So it's quite possible that yes, he could have got a lot stronger. He could have got
Oh, would he have got
exponentially
stronger?
stronger.
Yeah, and a lot stronger.
They did not back in the golden age. Remember, back in the golden age, the whole idea of the meta gene, which is what you're trying to allude to here, wasn't even a thought. It was not.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
know,
know that. I know that. We actually have this guy called Man Child Protective Services saying, "Are there any man children being bullied here yet?" Nope, we don't believe in that sort of thing here.
yeah. Are there any man children being bullied here yet? uh,
But I get what you're thinking, and I'm not even thinking about that necessarily. Like And I'm not even saying he has quote unquote superpowers. I'm just saying he has above average strength for somebody that is doing what he's doing. Yes, do I know anybody that trains like that? No, I don't know anybody personally, but we see a lot of, these types of people, in YouTube videos and stuff like that, and none of them complain about breaking door handles just because they get stuck.
Well, the thing is, though, is I think in most places, okay, so but let's take a look at the situation, though. They said that they were staying in a modest hotel, so
Yeah,
that could have meant it as modest. It wasn't, I'm not saying that it was like ready to be condemned or anything like that, but it would
yeah,
have
but
been
it's
it would have
I
been
would
it would
say
have
it.
been more of a case. It would have been more of a case where it could have been more time worn. Maybe there were some maintenance issues, but it wasn't like the Ritz. It wasn't like the Ritz or
Oh yeah, I get
Palm
that,
Springs
but
or anything like that. It was a modest, for that time period. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. The
I've
by,
stayed
by
in a bunch
comparison,
of
by comparison, because remember too, this is back in when this book was released. It was in August 1940.
1940s.
Okay, compared to today, right? A lot of the modest buildings then would probably be considered flop out or like lower end, lower end economic places, by today's standards, but maybe, but it could have been more, as a modest hotel, as they called it there, it might have
Yeah,
been a bit more worn.
uh,
So,
uh, uh, maybe a little, but I've been in quite a few modest hotels myself, or what I would think are modest hotels or motels or whatever. But none of them had doors that would be that one that easy
well,
with
because,
somebody that sort of.
Rick, again, you're looking at it from the perspective of somebody who's living in 2026 here.
Yeah,
Okay. Back then,
yeah, the
okay,
materials would have been even more stronger. They would have been using real wood, not these.
well,
Uh,
but the
uh,
wear and tear would have still been at it too.
yeah, but there's not that much wear and tear on a door, a hotel door.
Again, I don't think this is any indication that he had any kind of like superhuman strength. He may have had above average strength compared to
Yeah, well,
most
see,
guys,
I'm not even.
but
I
that, but
never.
that can be direct. That can be directly attributed to his training because he spent an entire year where basically 7 days a week he was probably training 8 hours a day.
Yeah, but
And
still, uh, uh, for me, I'm hard pressed to be convinced that somebody that was doing that training for that long would be able to do that to a
I
regular
think it is
door
a
in
lot
a
more
modest
possible than
hotel.
you may think.
Heard
It is
it?
I think it is a lot more possible than you think.
Maybe it could be, but unless there's some sort of proof out there, and like I said, I'm not saying he has super strength. I'm just saying he has more strength than somebody that is doing what he's doing. And I guess in a roundabout way, maybe I'm saying he has super strength, or it's pointing towards that. But they're not saying it yet, obviously, and it doesn't come out fully and say it
Yeah,
till
but
like three or
again,
four
though,
years
I
later.
don't I don't I don't think this is due to a metagene. I don't think it's due to him gaining superpowers. I think his strength is directly attributed to his training. I think that
Yeah,
I do believe that if you did that much training, I mean, look at, if you think about it, even look at how with Batman, right? With Batman, all the training he did, he got significantly bigger too. I
yeah,
mean, not
but
to, not to say that he wasn't like, a decent sized man to begin with, but he got significantly bigger. in terms of muscles and all that. But anyways,
Fitzjoseph says,
we're gonna keep running around with this. We want to get to the store. We want to get to the all-star comments, but let's also get to these comments.
Yeah.
So
Fitzjoseph says it's comics. Normal humans have unrealistic level of strength.
Do you know anyone who trains in normal
BMI body mass?
I don't think back in 1940 nobody even was thinking about BMI. BMI, I don't even think was really a concept at that point.
It's just
BMI, I think, has only been a concept in the last 20, 25 years or so, as far as
and it's just another way of saying weight. So, in my opinion, it's another way.
Considering they were living on a farm, training and proper diet could have maximized the efforts there. But anyways, is anyone bullying you for not ever staying in a hotel with a girl? MPS can.
I'll be with you in a sec, Mike. I'm trying to take a knot out of my headphones.
Right.
I'm hoping I will.
But no, nobody's really bullied me for that. Don't really get bullied too much anymore, anyways. But I haven't since I was back in high school. Never put some.
I think I got it out.
Yeah, never put some wear and tear. Never put some wear and tear on a hotel bed, and being bullied for it. Okay, I guess this MPS guy is.
He's doing a shtick and he's sticking to it.
Yeah. But so you were reading this one. It's comics. Normal humans have an unrealistic level of strength. Well, I don't think it's even back then.
I would really disagree with that too.
Again, I don't think it's super. I don't think it's like superhuman or anything due to a metagene. I just simply think, again, it is the training and proper diet. He probably just maximized the efforts.
But
I think if anything, I think what Al
I have to disagree with it, because not only is he surprised, his trainer Joe Morgan is surprised by this, the level of strength.
Yeah, so, but as we know now, what they probably didn't know as much back then, because again, not lack of understanding of medicine and all that. Today they say that we only use a very small portion of our capacity of our
but see, Joe Morgan in this is he's fought as a boxer, so he's done this training himself for lots, and he's trained other people, it said. And again, he's still surprised at the level of strength. This is above anything he's ever seen. So
again,
it's obviously not normal even to him.
I just think it's more of a case that because of the isolation and all that, I think Al was just able to maximize his efforts. A lot of the people he trained before probably had other things going on too. They weren't
because he says
it wasn't like dusk till dawn training. It was for a lot of the guys he was training before. They had jobs. They had other things they were doing.
No, the ones that said that he had trained before had went for titles.
I think it's just a case where he just maximized the effort and maximized the effect.
Okay. But it had said that these other ones went for titles and won them.
Anyways, are you being okay? Okay, nerds. Sports is on. That's good. That nobody is bullying you guys for only reading books with pictures.
Okay. There's words with these pictures.
All right. Well, anyways, let's get ready to move on to
the next story.
Well, we could sit here and debate this for
So we're
eternity.
pink in the
So
face.
basically,
Forget
the
rules.
idea is that we each have a very strong belief
Opinion.
in our position, and we're not going to change the other person's. I'm not going to change your mind on what you think. You're not going to change my mind. We're just
Yeah.
going to keep going around in circles at this point, and it's just going to get monotonous and cause probably more agitation than is really needed. So,
Might seem a little fun to the audience.
but again, these
Yeah.
type of debates are well. I'm just scrambling back down so people can see some of the other art of the stories and stuff like that before we move on to All Star Comics. Yeah, so there's the Atom, and then we have Bud Fisher, Cicero's cat, right there. Mutt and Jeff, who were a popular duo back in this time period.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
This was, of course, back when the Daisy Bell by Gene Burns. Of course, this was also the time when comics mixed it up. They were a bit of a hodgepodge. You'd have some superhero stories, and you might get some humor in there as well, or some slice of life stuff. Let's see. This one looks a bit more like a. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is Hop Harrigan right here, who was
Yeah,
also
we've
a
met
member of the All
before.
Star Squadron. All American Flying Club. Again, another way for them to try to get kids more involved. Ripley's Believe It or Not here. I guess we can kind of stop in here real quick and read these as a quick little featurette. So Ripley's Believe It or Not. Let's see how the human tree. Um, Kharkov, USSR.
Yeah, somebody probably carved it.
Yeah.
Bases.
Bill Beers. Bill Beers, a patient in the Wilmer, Minnesota insane asylum for the past 9 years, learned the game while. So I guess there's a baseball
Learn the
story.
game of chess.
Huh?
Says
Learned
learn
the
the
game of
game of chess.
chess while confined, and is now acknowledged to be one of the world's foremost problem composers. And then Eddie Rose here, New Orleans outfielder, killed a pigeon with a batted ball during a game. He was credited with a hit.
He hit something.
Yeah. Well, he probably got a single out of it anyways, but it kind of reminded me, well, that's not the only time that, sometimes birds would get hit with either a batted ball or a pitch ball. I mean, I remember distinctively and there you can find a clip probably on YouTube of it where Randy Johnson, threw his like 96-mile-an-hour fastball to the plate and actually just happened to kill a pitch. He killed a pigeon. He didn't just hit a pigeon. He killed a pigeon with a fastball.
Yeah, and then got charged.
No, he didn't get charged for it.
Well, there's been people that have hit it, pigeon with a baseball during a baseball game. They're hitting the ball, it flies up, hits some bird or whatever, or the fastball or whatever, and they end up killing a bird accidentally, and then they get charged. It's
No,
like
they don't usually get because people know that was just kind of a accident. I don't.
no, it's happened. I've heard reports of it.
It must have been recently then because it was.
Within the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, okay, during this woke period where basically where you got a bunch of woke people who just will just find anything to come. Let's see, Popsicle Pete here. Another Ripley's Believe It or Not. So, Ben Webster. the text story. Here's Daisy Bell again. Mutton Jeff.
Yeah, August 4th, 1983. Dave Winfield's errant throw accidentally kills a seagull in Toronto.
Yeah. Squibbly. Here's Squibbly by Joel Molinoff. So there's Ma Hunkel and Squibbly right there. Ma Hunkel before she became the Red Tornado. And it's kind of funny because when Ma Hunkel became the Red Tornado and took over the feature, Squibbly then went back to just his own feature and was again, I don't think was ever again part of the Hunkel universe there. But Squibbly was a feature that kind of went around to different companies, different publishing companies. So, all right. So, anyways, let's get. I know we're past the hour mark, but already. So,
Why is it always in Toronto? Well, that's referencing the 1983 one.
uh,
2023.
your phone just ring or something like that?
Yeah, somebody texted me.
All right. So now let's go over to All Star Comics #2, and we're just gonna more or less just read straight through it. We're just in this particular case, we're just gonna read straight through because basically, all the pages here, we'll just see how far we can get. Now was actually hoping to start it just before the hour, before we got to the hour mark, but um, hour 17. So we might get through at least two, maybe three of the stories here, depending on how they go. So fall issue All Star Comics. So you got on the cover there, you've got of course Green Lantern, Spectre, Flash.
We just had Green Lantern on the other cover too.
Yeah. Actually, let me
Aquaman.
hold on. Let me double check something real quick. Let me see which story because all right. Let me just check something here real quick. Because I think I did actually figure out which stories I was going to, but want to go back real quick. Just double checking them from. But we spent quite a bit of time debating that one, that one issue over Adam
Yeah.
Strange here.
It sort of makes some good content.
Yeah. Sacrifice the young chick, the curse of Kulak. Sacrifice the young chick. What about man? Curse of Kulak. Yes, I think I'll try reading every other story because Hawkman has Chak and Kulak in the Glowing Gables here. Darling apartment. All right, Johnny. All right, I think I got an idea of what. So yeah, we'll probably just do just about every other story here.
Yeah, if we can, because it's like 9:20, right?
Well, yeah, we're almost an hour and a half into it, so we'll get started here. Hawkman by Shelley, which I believe was just a. All right, you want to do Hawkman?
Sure.
Winged man of mystery, who fights the crime of the present with weapons of the past. The Hawkman. He soars through the air over a sleeping city, searching for evil that he may overcome. Far below the Hawkman. Actually, hold on. Let me do one more thing here, real quick. See if I'm just trying to. All right, it's not gonna be much better, but hopefully that would be a little bit better in terms of making it a little easier to read. Far below, the Hawkman sees a crowd of people uh, gathered around a suburban home. After the police have a carry after the police leave, a curious figure stealthily approaches the house. The Hawkman enters the house.
A girl looks as looks that girl looks as though she's been drowned. What is what's this? Young cock can't imagine that can what that can mean. Knife, knife or glass. This is a mystery. A girl drowned. Where there where she's
Where there is no water.
a girl drowned where there's no water, a glass knife, a slip of paper with yum cack written on it, and odd set of clues.
Hmm. The Hawkman leaves for home.
Maybe my private library will contain a clue or two.
But the Norris house has other visitors. Chet, Chet, these Indians
I think
were.
that's a girl.
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Huh. Chet, these Indians were. Where are they? Where are they taking me? Far into the night, Carter Hall, the Hawkman, searches his files till
Check. The Aztec brain god. That puts a different light on the matter. Let's see. Chet Morris is the best Aztec specialist I know. I think I will pay him a visit. I think we were then supposed to do that.
Yeah, oh well. Kind of mixed it up a bit, but anyways. Chet Norris is bound to a chair. I have no money, so if you're kidnapping my my sister Serene for ransom, you're wasting your time. Your sister is one of the chosen of Yumchak, the mighty. You should be glad your sister's being honored to die for Yumchak. Come, bring the girl. We are wasting time. Carter Hall, the Hawkman, pays a visit to the Norris's home.
Even Chet doesn't know I'm Hawkman. No one must ever know that. No one answers, but I have a feeling everything's not all right. So I'm barging in.
Hall finds Chet Norris bound to a chair. Carter Hall! Gosh, I'm glad to see you. Come on and untie me, quick.
Chet Norris? Is that anything like any relation to Chuck Norris?
Don't think so. Norris is somewhat of a common name. Oh. Chet explains the kidnapping.
What happened to you?
Some she-devil came in and kidnapped Serene.
I think that's Irene.
I kidnapped Irene for Yumchak, the Aztec god of rain. They hold ceremonies every year, human sacrifices.
Human sacrifices? Listen, Chet, get some sleep. I've got to go now.
Returning to his house, Carter Hall once more um, becomes the Hawkman and takes up the trail.
I've never worked fast to save her. I'll have to work fast to save Irene.
Like a ghost, the Hawkman silently returns to the room where he found the mysterious glass knife.
The killer will probably return for the glass sacrificial knife, so I'll plant it in this room and wait.
At an elaborate penthouse in the city, fool, to lose the sacred knife of Yumchak. So go find it, and meet us at the dock. The Aztec man drives up to the house where he slew the girl, only to find an officer on guard. An officer. I'll take care of him easy enough.
Where sure do you think you're going?
He he jabs the patrolman with a hypodermic. Knocking him out almost immediately. Entering the house, the Indian finds the glass knife. The sacred knife. It's still here. What was that? Somebody's coming. What the? Who are you?
Never mind that. You're the important one, Mr. Murderer.
The Aztec leaps at the Hawkman with his knife. I'll kill you, fool! Like a sledgehammer, the Hawkman's fist smashes home. The Hawkman searches the Indian.
Tickets for the American sailing at midnight. Just what I wanted to know.
The Hawkman fastens the Aztec to the doped patrolman with handcuffs, then slips from the house. Hawkman races to the harbor. Yeah. Just as the SS Meriden swings out to sea, on board the Aztec girl watches the skyline face into the distance. Queer. The shadow looks like an enormous bird. It is the Hawkman, flying high above the ocean liner.
The ship is sailing. The ship is sailing. Looks like another sea voyage for me.
In her private cabin, the Aztec woman keeps Irene a prisoner. Stop whimpering. You are familiar with the rights of Yumchak. That is why you were chosen. Days later, the ship docks in Mexico. Irene, helpless in rolls of bandages, is easily taken off the boat by the clever Indian girl. Careful of her. My sister has been badly burned. I take her home to the mountains for treatment. By burro pack train, the Aztec girl carries Irene across the mountains of Mexico toward Cochinita, but always on the trail, the Hawkman ride bides his time.
Yeah, I guess so. He's seen them depart. He never landed on a ship and confronted her and saved the girl. They've got off the ship and got to this place with a burrow that they need and done nothing. This is days
Hmm.
and done nothing.
Hmm.
Anyways, I must let her do nearly what she wishes until the last moment in order to catch her in the crime. You're in a different country. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. The Hawkman visits the local police. Madre de Dios! What do I see?
I am the Hawkman. I wish to speak with you.
The Hawkman questions the sheriff. Young Jack, you know of those bloody devils legend says the woman Neola is daughter is a daughter of Montezuma reincarnated. She is priestess of the rites, and the countryside fears her.
Uh, I have a plan. If you will help, perhaps we can end this nonsense.
Mestrade Hawkman, did 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 that and you um, will save these people. I will help with my men when you want us. Oh. As the full moon floods the Aztec temple, the Indians gather for a human sacrifice. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the last story because I knew, and I just checked, it's like 135, I believe. So by the time we get done with it, it's going to be like past
Yeah.
140. So yeah, it's like 138. So this is going to have to be the last story we read. But what I'll do
Yeah.
is I'll read the summaries for some of the other stories I was going to read in here, and then we'll. Granted, we only got through two stories because we got really into that debate earlier. So
Yeah.
plus we had the the summary and intro stuff. So Neola addresses the medicine man. Hail, young Jack, mighty again. Thy sacrifice. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hail, young Jack, make the Aztec once mighty again. We offer thee my sacrifice. Irene, the first sacrifice, shrieks in terror. No, no, it's murder. Help! But Regina, her, quickly regains her self-control and steels herself to face this cruel fate with all her courage. I must I must be brave, even though high above the ancient temple, the Hawkman comes into view.
Looks like I arrived just in time.
just as Irene is thrown into the pool of sacrifice and hurtles toward certain death. Note, this sacred well is an historical fact. Girls were flung into the pit at daybreak in time of drought, etc.
So it's saying
etc.
basically this really happened in history. These people did this, threw women in
Yeah.
at daybreak for ceremonies for various things.
To intercede with the gods on behalf of the tribe. It survived them. If they survived them, they were hauled out at noon and questioned as to what the gods had in store. If the maidens failed to reappear, it was considered an evil omen.
That's funny. Yeah, we're gonna throw you down in here. If you survive, you're supposed to tell us what the gods want. If you don't, we don't believe the gods accept their sacrifice, and it's evil omen.
Flinging caution to the wind, the Hawkman drops like a plummet after he sees the girl's falling body. The Hawkman catches Irene just before she reaches the bottom of the pit. You got a quote there.
Oh, just in time.
The pigeons charge to attack the Hawkman, who has robbed them of their sacrifice. But by now, the hawk is safe high above the Aztec temple. At the Hawkman's signal, the Mexican police appear to mop up the panic-stricken people. For Neola, there is only one way out: death. They'll never catch me. The sacred pool. She jumps, and the still water, the still waters close over the dreaded Montezuma's daughter. A month later, in New York again,
The woman was drowned by a pool. A ball.
A pail.
What? A pail.
Yeah. The woman is drowned by a pail of water.
A pail of water from the pool of sacrifice, because she was going to tell the police Neola was after Irene.
I wrote back about the Aztecs. They wanted to kill Irene to get revenge on me. Don't miss the absorbing tales of the Hawkman and the fights, who fights the evils of the president with the weapons of the past, who fights the evils of the present with the weapons of the past, completing every issue of Flash Comics. All right, so as I said, we only got through 2 stories tonight because we had some intro stuff. We got into that debate there.
Yeah.
But overall impressions of this story.
It was all right. I'm not sure whether it's what I would expect for a Hawkman story. I haven't read Hawkman with you before, and although I've read some more modern Hawkman, I have a few of his comics, and of course I've seen him in various medias. But it was different. I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure what to
I
say.
think in both cases, Hawkman has some links to like ancient Egypt.
Yeah,
I think that's been the one consistent. In the Golden Age here, Carter Hall was a museum curator / anthropologist. Okay,
yeah,
a specialist in Egyptology. So a lot of times, he discovered the nth metal and
yeah.
then fashioned it, um,
Into the harness and all that. Yeah,
right. So,
giving him the ability to fly.
mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, hold on. Anyways,
So
I said
yeah.
I'm gonna just give me a sec so I can get the link here. I'm gonna go ahead and just read off some of the other, since we are a little low on time here. I'm gonna just read off the some of the summaries of some of the other stories. So in there, of course, you had Green Lantern with the Robot Man. Villains were Baron von Zorn, his gang, and the Robot Men. This in the All-Star comic story, Alan Scott is revealed to have attended medical school for 2 years in the story. When Baron von Zorn, an Axis agent, tries to ready America for conquest by wreaking havoc with drug-altered humans who become robot men, the Green Lantern intervenes. He restores these pawns to normal and brings Von Zoom into custody. So that's the Green Lantern story from there. And then after I go through these synopses, we'll do, even though we only had 2 stories, we'll do best of, worst of after that. Then we'll get into this day in each history. The Spectre, the Curse of Kulak. Kulak, a high priest of Berzat. He next appears in All-Star Squadron number 20. When an American archaeologist expedition unearths and so violates the tomb of Kulak, priest of the lost civilization of Berzat, his spirit unleashes terrible curses on mankind in retaliation. The Spectre battles Kulak and his minions by requesting the Ring of Life from the voice, manages to subdue his foe, and puts his efforts to naught. That was a Spectre story in there.
Wonder what the Ring of Life is. Is it the Crown of Thorns?
I don't know.
I'm joking a little.
Yeah. Sandman story here, the glowing globes. Doesn't really look like too much. Let's see, the glowing globes. The evil brother of scientist Sir Basil Lorma kills him after using Sir Basil's expertise to fashion a bell of metal that emits radiation. When activated, he uses this ball to kill guards and commit fantastic thefts until he is brought to bay by the Sandman, who turns the villain's own gun on him in self-defense. See the red, red, and blue story. We'll skip that. The Darling Apartment, a Johnny B. Thunder story with the villain Hiram Croker, who next appears in Flash Comics number 14. When Herman Darling, father of Johnny Thunder's girlfriend Daisy, buys property formerly controlled by political boss Hiram Croker, he finds it difficult to close down Croker's gambling ring to erect an apartment house there till Johnny Thunder and his magic thunderbolt step in to save the day. The Johnny Thunder stories would be really cool to read because they're they are, again, they're not your typical superhero fare. They're more of a like a you know borderline parody superhero because a lot of the times he just stopping stuff more by happenstance as opposed to really going out of his. Let's see, Doctor Morte Spiritualist from in Our Man. With the help of the Minutemen of America, Our Man cleans up a phony spiritualist racket run by the evil Dr. Morte. Of course, Jimmy Martin, Thorndike, and the Minutemen of America are featured in the story along with Our Man. And then the one-man newspaper, Flash, here. A gangster captures the entire staff of a newspaper in an attempt to force the publisher, Baxter, to sell out to him. So the Flash puts together an entire morning edition of the paper and distributes it himself before catching the crooks and freeing the captives. Wow, one man newspaper. Good story.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, so we're done with we're done with all that. So with that being said, of course, so we got through two stories tonight. So not much to really choose. So between the two, which one did you like the best and why?
Um, I'm not sure whether this is going to be surprising or not, but between the two, I think I like the Atom better.
Hmm.
I think it captured my attention a little bit more. Yeah, we didn't really get to see him in his suit. Maybe it's because it was an origin story. Although, again, we only seen part of the origin because we haven't seen him in the suit yet, which won't happen until the next issue, I believe. So I just, for whatever reason, maybe those reasons, some more other reasons that I can't think of, I think that captured my attention a little bit more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
And obviously, I know what the next question is. Which one?
Which one did you
Obviously,
like
that.
the least and why? Which, of course, that's pretty much with only two stories, there's only
Yeah, it's going to be. That, of course, just leaves Hawkman. Like I said, well, similar, but the reverse. It was an all right story. It seemed fairly comprehensive. It was very narrative driven, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to make sense for the most part, from what I can recall, but it just didn't seem to capture my attention. I don't know why. I was reading Hawkman and it seemed fairly decent, the dialogue and all that. Well, there was that one major flaw that or maybe more of a major flaw than minor flaw. You know, he could have captured the people right at the dock, but then he waits to do it till they're about to sacrifice her. It's like, makes no sense. Just so he can bring her in for her crimes. Well, you've now gone to another country. And well, as the what you don't really have jurisdiction, but you're a hero. It's not like it'd be hard to for you to bring her back to America to pay for her crime, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then maybe she could get extradited or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, we're gonna now move on real quickly here to the this day in each or this weekend in each history segment, and then start to wrap up here. So I know I'm gonna go a little over what I intended, but that's okay. 886, 886, February 7th, 1926, and February 7th, 2016. All right. So first up, heading back 100 years ago yesterday, back to February 7th, 1926. All right. Pat Sullivan's cartoon, um, Felix the Cat in Blunderland, premiered in movie theaters on this date back in 1926, 100 years ago. Um,
Well, that's definitely a long time ago.
yeah. This is still in the time where there were no sound in the cartoons, of course. A cop gives Felix directions to Wonderland. Felix follows Alice, but misses the exit, and instead winds up in Blunderland, where he manages to irritate old King Cole and fails to find Little Bo Peep's sheep. So 100 years ago, Felix Cat in Blunderland premiered in movie theaters. So now, um, moving on to the year 2016, on this date in the on yesterday's date in the year 2016, 10 years ago, Toei Animation's Witchy Pretty Girl premiered in Japan, known in Japan as Maho Girl's Precure or Magician Pretty Girl. Um, Premiered on this date 10 years ago on Japanese TV, on airing on on their version of ABC and ANN, not the American broadcasting. I believe it might be the Asahi Broadcasting Company or something like that. So 10 years ago yesterday, the premiere of Witchy Pretty Cure on.
But she pretty curves. She got pretty curves.
Anyways,
Is that close for pretty curves?
all right. So, anyways, moving on to 1980. Moving on to today's date, going back 40 years ago today. 40 years ago today, on this date, 40 years ago, from from the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, Randy Savage defeats Tito Santana to become the WWF Intercontinental Champion. So on this date, Randy Savage defeats Tito Santana in Boston, Massachusetts, I believe in the Boston Garden, to win the WWF Intercontinental Championship. And I believe this was his first Intercontinental. I think he won it twice, and this was his first run with it. So, or maybe not. Actually, no. Actually, it was his only run with it. Never mind. And now, moving on to the year 2006, 20 years ago today. And on this date, 20 years ago today, in 2006, the 110th issue of Blade of the Immortal from Dark Horse's Dark Horse manga imprint went on sale on this date back in 2006. It sold for $2.99 and was 32 pages. All right, so with that being said, thank everybody for being here tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Rick, any last promotions you want to do before we wrap up? Maybe you can stick around for a couple minutes after the show. That'd be for post show. That'd be appreciated.
Just check out the link I put in earlier for Global Comics. Check out my YouTube channel, Cross Comics. Just or my website, crosscomics.ca. For my stuff, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
And with that, we'll be back here tomorrow in Morning News. Next Sunday, of course, I'll be joined by Sabrina from Devil Flyer Comics, or Devil Flyer Momentum. We'll be continuing our look at, of course, comics went on sale in August of 1940. Next week, we'll be focusing in on the company we now know as Marvel Comics, what was then known as Timely. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.